Dun 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 dun. We're terrible.
What's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of Dr. Who Dis? I am your host, Larry the Bearded Wonder. Joining me side by side tonight is Adele, not a meth head, and Josh the LeGrew.
Hello.
So, Adele, what the hell's happening with this week's episode of The Unquiet Dead?
Oh my god, there was so much happening.
What's the big thing that's happening?
The Siths are becoming lively again.
It's a good setup.
Oh, shit. So, I know, Adele, you've got thoughts because you and I have been chatting about this tonight. So let's dive in. Thoughts, feelings, impressions on The Unquiet Dead with Charles Dickens.
Well, the episode takes place in 1869, which really, they were supposed to land in 1860, which, I mean, I don't feel like anything interesting happened in 1860, because I feel like I would know about that. But 1869, oh, is that really what happened?
Yeah.
Did I mean, why
in the U.S. Yeah.
Aren't you glad you asked?
Something interesting.
That didn't happen in London, okay?
Right, you're right.
Talking about that. It didn't happen in England. So, 1869, Charles Dickens, fantastic, also known as Samuel L. Clemens. He's a fantastic writer, and this lady died, and she was apparently going to some, like, reading of his. Yeah. I don't know really what was going on.
A live reading by Dickens of Christmas Carol.
Oh, yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I should have known.
Like he was at the end of his career, you know, and he was just like kind of making money where he could.
Right. Well, not only that, but what would then become the end of his life, as we find out at the end of the episode, too.
Guys,
he's only got a year left.
I'm telling the story here. I'm telling the story.
Okay.
So he's reading his book, and he's really getting into it, and he's talking about a door knocker and how it became, like, haunted or something. And then he's looking out in the audience, and he sees this lady, and her face is all blue and floaty. And he's like, oh my god, it's like that. That is what I'm talking about. And then the whole episode just takes off.
That's pretty good.
Exactly.
I think we can, that's like the whole thing, right?
That's the whole episode.
That's all we need. We're done for this week. Great.
Well, then the doctor comes in, and Rose comes running in, and Rose is like, let me handle shit. And the doctor is more interested in what's going on with Charles Dickens, but he doesn't know who the fuck he is. And Rose runs off and gets fucking chloroformed and kidnapped.
I've got chloroform. I'm dating again.
Kind of, right?
And then the doctor runs out and is like, oh, shit, Rose. Oh, no. And she gets thrown into a hearse and fucking taken to a morgue. And then the episode just really takes off from there. Josh, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so it is good. I like the basis and with Dickens in there. It's kind of an interesting concept. It's really cool because the doctor is like really into Charles Dickens. He's like, it's like one of his favorite people.
Mm-hmm.
And when he gets in the taxi to follow the other people, they're like, he's like, well, it's my taxi or whatever. He's like, well, get in, or it's my coach, you know. He's like, get in. And then he finds out who he is, and he's like pretty much like starstruck.
Love that. I'm a huge fan. In what way are you a mechanism for cooling oneself?
Right. Yeah, then he has to explain the word fanatic and all like what it comes from and everything. That was pretty good.
it's a nice nod to the period and growth of vernacular and slang over the centuries.
Right.
Great
Right.
little touch. So, so how what did you think of the Gelf as the antagonist this week?
I liked it. I liked the idea that they were. I do. We can get into the whole thing on the near the how it all kind of like boils out or rolls down, but I like the idea of this like kind of like ethereal beings kind of, and they're like surviving in the natural gas.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just kind of, and they can take like a form, like a body and use it.
Well, you caught too that they're not. What was that?
We're skipping things.
We are.
We're skipping important things.
We'll come
Well,
back.
I think that's your doing.
Is that my doing? Did I fail in my narrative?
You got us off track.
But I was going to point out too. Did you catch though that that's not their natural state? That's,
yes. Right. It's just
that's
what
the
happened.
Aftermath of the Time War.
Right. And they were like, and like how they explained because the lesser species had no idea the Time War was going on.
Right.
Like humans had no idea. They weren't even affected really.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was all, that's where the doctors people and all the Time Lords and everyone else pretty much screwed.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna pause. And they're in the carriage and he's talking about what a huge fan he is, and they pull up to the morgue and he knocks on the door and that weird servant/slave lady answers and she's like, no, you can't come in, and the doctor just kind of pushes his way in and he's like, oh my gosh, they're in the walls. That's fantastic to me. He's just like, and she's like, no, you're not allowed in here. And Charles Dickens is just standing there like,
I think I am.
I am?
Yep.
We're skipping great things, guys.
See, and we started talking earlier, and you're like, I didn't like this episode so much, and now here in the moment, you're really enjoying this.
I'm drunk.
Yeah. It's a good episode. It's got a lot of nuance to it.
That's what you think. You haven't seen later on.
No, but I will. That's the.
That is the beauty of it. It doesn't have context to
Honestly,
see how far it elevates.
Honestly, I love the history episodes, and later on, you'll be able to differentiate between the history episodes and the future episodes by what the Doctor wears, but that's not now. I love the history episodes. It's just Charles Dickens. I was never really a huge fan, so I never got excited. And I mean, honestly, there was a huge zombie opportunity that just wasn't taken.
Right.
They could have had zombies. And they
in fact, that's what I thought it was, kind of from the
right?
trailers, the
Right?
trailer from the episode previous.
You thought zombies, and you probably got excited as I did. There are no zombies.
I was okay with that because zombies are kind of overdone. So
No, this happened in 2005? Zombies weren't overdone yet, Josh.
yeah,
This
I'm happy with it though. The way
like
it's
a pivotal point in Doctor Who. There are no zombies in Doctor Who pretty much ever. I would love some zombies. Zombies are fantastic.
I'm sure it'll come around eventually.
Ooh.
Everything does.
Ooh, that point where after Rose wakes up, right? She wakes up and the dead guy tries to kill her, and then the old lady comes back to life again, and she's like beating on the door, and she's like, no, let me out. And the doctor's like, oh, that's her, and starts booking it to the room that she's in, right? And so then after, they're all sitting there, and Charles Dickens is pretty much saying, what the fuck, guys? This isn't a thing. Right? And then Rose is sitting there going, you chloroformed me. You left me in a room with dead people that were trying to kill me. What do you have to say for yourself? And then he starts talking about, he's like, well, the stiffs. And then he goes, I mean, the dearly deceased. That just kind of made me chuckle. The stiffs.
Well, I mean, when you work in an industry, eventually at some point, it's just a job.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I feel that. And I respect that that was portrayed in this episode.
I know a lot of I have like a funeral home on where I work,
Do
and in the city I work, I go in there sometimes, and you're always asking, how's business or whatever. You're like trying to be funny, and they're like, they're dying to get in. They have a sense of humor, the people that work, and they have to, because otherwise it's so depressing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dealing with death every day.
I mean,
I worked in a funeral home once. The job just killed me.
I'm sorry, but they chloroformed Rose.
Well, yeah. How else are they gonna get her to be quiet?
That reminds me of another show, though, where they're like, once you have chloroform, you can't just not use it.
Exactly.
Like, so
Right.
I get it, but at the same time, there really was no need for that, and she really just puts him on blast.
Like, hey, does this smell like chloroform?
Yeah. Hey, what does this smell like?
Oh, God. So, piece that we kind of skipped right over here. My crackers are being taken from me. So, piece that we kind of skipped over here, though, is
What did I
the
miss?
conversation between Gwen and Rose, where she has that glimpse of the future and
No,
she
that's
sees.
after. That's after. I was getting there.
Oh, really?
I was getting there. I'm excited about this, Larry.
Apparently.
Yeah. So then, after the whole "you chloroformed me, you fucking jackass" conversation, it cuts to a clip where she's talking to the slave servant. What is she? Is she a
Gwen.
slave?
Um,
Slave servant.
Indentured
She
servant,
says that
maybe?
she's being
Yeah.
paid 60 pounds,
Yeah.
and she's lucky for that.
Hmm.
Anyway, they're
That
talking.
was for a year, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a not a lot of money for a long time.
Yeah. Well, they're
Yeah,
talking.
she's basically a servant.
Yeah,
She
they're
grew
talking.
up there.
Oh, yeah. And they're talking, and Rose is talking about how, oh, well, Mr. Dead Guy Harvester can't be the only person in your life. And this lady Gwen starts talking about the butcher's son, I think. Butcher's son. And how
Right.
she's kind of got the hots for him. And
Nice
Rose,
smile and a nice bum.
yeah, Rose in a very forward manner is just like, nice smile and a nice bum. And she's like, how forward? And then that conversation eventually leads forward, and it kind of goes back and forth between Gwen knowing things she's not supposed to know, and then all of a sudden, Gwen just knows everything she's not supposed to know, and she's talking about metal boxes that are going so fast, and metal birds, and that are flying with people in them. And then she starts talking about Rose specifically, and she starts talking about how Rose has flown further than any other, and how she's flown so far, right? And then the bad wolf reference is made, and good God, I love it. I love how that's just thrown in there, and then she just stops, and it's just done. And in between there, she's talking about how, oh, well, the master says that, I think too much, and da-da-da-da. And that's really when we get a picture of, hey, this bitch knows more than she should. This bitch is something here.
Okay.
So I like the fact too that as soon as she bumps up against the knowledge, whatever Bad Wolf is, that she's like, oh fuck, I shouldn't have touched that, and shuts down.
She just jumps off.
Right.
It's like, you accidentally touch the electric fence. Like, yeah, no, that's about it. We're just gonna walk away.
Larry, that's what we're doing right now because Josh doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
We're touching the electric fence and we gotta step away because he doesn't know. It's so fantastic. I love it.
The question is, for Josh, has he picked up the running yet for this season?
Have
Because
you
there's
now?
2 occurrences now.
Josh, have you?
No, because
Not yet.
no. I'm
Now,
not,
don't
I'm
feel
not
bad.
that-
Don't
It's
feel
okay.
bad. Because we
I don't feel
discovered
bad.
tonight that Adele had never noticed the first occurrence of the running
I
Easter egg
thought
this season.
This episode was the first one and it was not. And the first one is so subtle. It's in the Earth exploding episode.
Yeah,
It's
end of the
so
world.
subtle. So subtle. Like, it's in a passing conversation subtle.
Okay.
Larry had to actually go out of his way to show me. And I've watched season 1 like at least 4, maybe 5 times. I've never caught it. I call myself a Whovian, but I've never caught it.
Okay, well that's good. Yeah, I'm not even like paying that much attention to that like kind of stuff right now. I think it's just like watch the get the overall show, the episodes. That's how I'm approaching it anyway.
It'll start coming up more blatantly, and you'll realize what it is, and then your immediate reaction is going to be, "Fuck! Now I got to go back and rewatch and see what I missed."
Yeah, probably.
You'll go back through and rewatch season 1. That's a promise.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm already rewatching it because my wife wants to watch it. So, like we watched the first 3 episodes. I watched again with her. So.
No, you should make her wait. You should make her wait until you finish the end of season 1. That way, when you're going back through, you're going to be catching all of these references, and you can explain to her how cool these references are.
Yeah, she probably wouldn't like that too much.
Cool.
So, Josh, favorite part of Unquiet Dead for you this week?
We haven't finished the recap.
We'll get through. Go punch it.
Oh, am I going?
Go it.
Okay.
Go with it.
Go ahead.
We're finishing the recap, Josh. Okay, so then they decide to have a seance, and Charles Dickens is just not about it, and he's like, "No, I don't participate in this bullshit."
Right.
Right? And then, who was it? It was the doctor that's like, "Oh no, what if we need your help?" And so then he holds hands with everybody, and we find out that what is this alien race called? It's the floaty
Gelf.
blue people.
The Gelf.
The
Gelf.
Yep.
Gelf.
The Gelf. Gelf. With an F?
I think it's TH, the Gelf.
Is it? Is it? We find out that the Gelf is like trapped in between this weird rip in time and space.
Right.
And this house was built on top of this. And it's fantastic. And you're thinking, oh man, this is awesome, right? And so you're sitting here, oh, Bixby is talking to me. And so you're
Bixby
sitting,
wants to chime in on this week's Doctor Who.
probably, it was fantastic. And so you're learning about the Gelf. And that's the first time in this episode that the Time War has been brought up, which, once again, a fantastic reference. And you're really just pitying the Gelf, and you think that they're just stuck, and that there's only a few of them, and the doctor's like, oh man, I need to help them, because he's the doctor, and that's what he does. So then they formulate this plan, and they take Gwyneth?
Yeah.
Gwen Stefani? Is it Gwen? They take Gwen.
No, but wait a couple years. You won't get Gwen Stefani, but you'll get Kylie Minogue.
Oh, God, no. They take Gwen, and they figure out, oh, the weakest part of this rift is in this archway. And so they're talking about it, and she decides, well, she passed out during the seance. She wakes up, and Rose Tyler is all like, no, this isn't right. Women's rights. No, she can't do this. This is her decision. And then the bitch wakes up, and she's like, no, this is my decision. Do I have a say? And then she's like, bitch, I'm gonna do this. So then they go down to the morgue where they're like processing all of the dead people. And I mean, man, I almost texted you about how it was worse than the mannequins. I almost did, Josh. Because that first cut-off where they're all, you just see it and you see his feet and you see the tag, and I'm just like, nope, nope, nope. But they go down there and they find out the weakest point, that where the rift is in this archway. So this dumb bitch decides that she's gonna step in there, and she's gonna be like this gateway for the Gelf. And she's all about helping these people, and she's just all about it. And oh, the angels have been speaking to me since I was a child. But then she steps in there And then the gals turn all flamey and evil looking, and as it turns out, there's like millions upon millions of them, and they want to take over all of our dead corpses.
Well,
and
even the
it's,
living one. Yeah.
yeah,
kill you and take her over.
Well,
Yeah.
the world and we
Yeah.
want your flesh.
yeah, it
Yeah.
really turned really bad for a second. Almost zombies, but not quite. I was not satisfied. Almost zombies. And then my thing about that part was that Rose is sitting there trying to figure out time and her timeline and how it was possible for her to die in 1869, even though she was born in 19 whatever. Like, she's sitting there going, no, I can't die. This is 1869. And the doctor's standing there talking about all the things he went through and how he threw boxes at the Boston Tea Party and how he did this. And then Charles Dickens runs out like a fucking pussy, because that's what he is. He's a fucking pussy. He bolts out of the building and then
Well, he was
comes
really
back.
smartened up.
Yeah, yeah.
Then he had a good idea.
And then he realized, and he's like, oh, wait a second, they're gas. And he goes back in and he cuts the lights off and he turns the gas on. And then he goes back down to the doctor and he saves the day. And that's the end of the episode. See, no, wait. No, that's not a scene. Because there's the whole part.
I feel like we just accidentally ripped Comedy Central's drunk history.
Pretty much.
I forgot about the good part. Where he's standing there. And Rose Tyler kisses him on the cheek. And he goes, oh, that's forward. Right? And then they get into the TARDIS. And he's talking about how he's going to, like, talk about the blue people and some end to a book he hasn't written yet that we obviously don't know about because he didn't finish writing.
Mm-hmm.
And they get into the
Right.
TARDIS, and then he's laughing as the TARDIS fades away. He's like in shock, and you know it's going like a dying seagull. And then as he's walking away, he's laughing, and he thinks it's the most fantastic thing. And scene. That's the end.
Then it's revealed that he doesn't get a time to write the book because
yeah,
he's gonna die and
Yeah.
whatever.
It's like 2 weeks later. It's 1869 Christmas, and
Yeah,
he
he dies and
How did he die? Do we know?
I don't
Should
know.
I Google
Ask
it?
Bixby. It was trying to talk to you.
I'm gonna Google it. I actually want to know.
So Josh, while she's Googling Bixby and Charles Dickens, highlights for Unquiet Dead for you. What stood out? What jumped out? What was
Now
best?
that we're done with my recap, my drunken recap.
And what was the low light?
The high point for me in the episode, I think, was like the revelation that gosh, what was her name again? I wasn't really listening to Adele. Adele, what was her name again? The bitch that steps in the rift.
Fuck you. It was Gwen. Fuck you, Josh.
Stroke.
Natural causes.
Really thing. Anyway, but like how she was basically dead when she stepped into the rift
Oh,
or
yeah,
the under the arch. So
Mm.
when they thought she died when she was when she closed it, or she gave her life to close it, but she was already dead pretty much,
Mhm.
but she was still existing kind of.
Yeah.
Yep, and Rose was all about saving her and couldn't understand when the doctor was like, I won't leave her here. And then they get out there and he's like, oh, she's already dead.
Yeah, she's already dead. Yeah.
That really just hit Rose hard. And I got in my feels for a second.
Yeah, this is all new for Rose, so, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yes.
like that part.
I also, speaking of all new, one of the things I really appreciate is it's at this point where you really kind of get the first touch of, yeah, look, your whole hang-ups about life, death, and, bodies and whatnot, that's literally just you guys as humans. Welcome to the rest of the fucking universe where nobody else gives a shit.
Right, like a dead body is just a dead body. It's
Right.
Yeah,
to them it was just like a resource to use.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
but also that introduction to time and how it's not just a straight line, but it's actual fluid. It's actually fluid. I feel like that was definitely a wake-up call for Rose, and she's really understanding, hey, I don't have to be born in 1996 and die in 2022. I can die in fucking 1869.
Right.
This is what happens when you're traveling with the doctor.
Well,
You step time machine, guess what? Your timeline does no longer run in a straight line like the rest of the universe.
It's all like this.
Right.
So what was the low light for you? What seemed to be what would you mark as the low point for Unquiet Dead?
I have several.
I don't know. I think it took a little while to get going, which is okay. I don't know. I mean, I don't really have. I think it was actually a pretty well planned out episode. There was a few things that were kind of clunky, but I didn't think like the one thing about is I always realize is like no one ever realizes like, well, they do realize, but they don't seem to care that the doctor is always wearing the same clothes.
Right.
Everybody just kind of accepts it, no matter what time he's in. He's in the future, he's in the past, but Rose has to go and get like an outfit on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that was kind of interesting. But other than that, I mean,
I
know that's part of who, yeah. So,
right on. And Adele, what was the low light? Because I know you said you had several.
I did have several. All right, first off, I'm looking up quotes for this episode. I'm looking for a specific quote.
Give me the context here. I might know it, actually. There's a good chance.
Okay, so it's after he says the sniffs are getting lively again, and he tells the bitch to fetch the carriage. There was a quote there that was fantastic.
Oh, I'm trying to remember what it is now. I'm drawing a blank. Shit.
I was in the middle of looking it up. Bixby can't help me. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like Charles Dickens, he could have... I feel like he was involved in the storyline. I feel like it was very well written, but I also feel like there could have been more there.
I was going to agree with you here. I think Dickens is probably the low light, not by his being there, but by the fact that for what's technically a Dickens episode, there's so little of him meaningfully in it.
Yep.
That he's more just a side character, a side bit to this episode.
Yep. And then my other low light was, of course, zombies. Could have been zombies. Was not zombies. Okay.
It was kind of. It was like a three-way between alien, vampire, zombies.
No, that was not zombies. Zombies are dead with some weird shit going on with their brain. This was gaseous. How do you say that word? Gaseous individuals coming in and haunting, taking over their bodies and
occupying.
That was not zombies. It could have been zombies. It was not zombies. And therefore, I am disappointed. But also, a side note here is that Josh touched on it about how the doctor didn't change his clothes. But there were some very elaborate directions for Rose on how to get to that wardrobe. He's like, turn left, and then it's like this.
5 doors down. Yeah.
Yep.
It's your first clue at just how big the TARDIS actually is inside. Yeah. The fact that there literally is an entire world in there.
Oh yeah, and I don't think they touch on that again for several seasons.
Oh no, it's going to be a long time till you really get a handle on it.
I didn't really realize that until 6 seasons from now.
At least 2 regenerations.
Yeah.
But yeah. But that's a story for a different day. But yeah,
they could have done more with that too. I would love to actually see inside the TARDIS and see some of these rooms that the Doctor's companions are being sent to. Like there could have been something there. Come on now.
Well, this is the BBC we're talking about, though. It's a budget
BBC,
issue.
Low budget. Yep.
Whose dick do I have to suck to see inside the TARDIS?
Apparently Stephen Moffat and Matt Smith, because
I
that's
will
what it took
suck
to get
both
it.
their dicks.
Well, they got it done.
Matt Smith's happily. No, that Matt Smith episode, we'll touch on that later.
We'll get
but
there
that
in a
Matt
year.
Smith episode was just, it wasn't enough for me.
So,
It wasn't
but
enough.
in any case, that's any closing comments on Unquiet Dead before we kill it, and we make sure that this stiff doesn't get lively.
Wait, no, are we going to touch on that preview to the next episode like we usually do? I want to see how excited Josh is for
That's a
that
good question.
preview.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Josh, are you excited?
Yeah, I'm excited because it's it looks like they're going back to their to just Rose's time, where they got her from, pretty much.
Rest of the day.
And alien ship crash lands in London. So
I have a
looks
question.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so in later regenerations, there's like a telltale of what time period that they're in. Did Christopher Eccleston's reincarnation of the Doctor not do that?
Wait, what?
Not to give too much away, but Matt Smith, it was his bow tie. You could tell what era he was in by his bow tie. If he was in the past, if he was in the future, if he was in the present.
No,
Do they
Eccleston,
not do that? Not
No.
even with his shirt color?
No,
Because I noticed that he
No,
did
he-
change his shirt.
no, he pretty much sticks to the same getup.
Because there was an ongoing joke about it. Man, Charles Dickens is a piece of work.
Well, the good news is, if you like Dickens, he'll come around again. So
Phrasing.
not gone forever. That stiff will get lively again.
Will it now?
So, all right. Well, that is another fantastic episode of Dr. Whodis in the books. And we'll see everybody back next week. I want to say big shout out, big thank you to my compatriots, Josh and Adele, for getting timey-wimey with me this week. And we'll see you all back next week when we get down with the aliens of London.
Yeah.
Peace.